Hello. Good morning and a very warm welcome to one and all gathered here. I request Mr. Mohanram Sulli, Chairperson of Management Committee of Kukki Subramanya Temple, to escort Madam Smriti Irani, Honorable Minister of Women Welfare and Child Development, Government of India, Shri Ningaya, Executive Officer Kukki Subramanya Temple, Shri Dinesh Kukki Subramanya Temple on the stage. Let us welcome them onto the stage with a huge round of applause. Let us begin this function by praying God. I request Srimati Bhavya, Kannada lecturer, SSPU College Subramanya for prayer. I request Mr. Somshekar sir and Shri Dinesh PT principal on the stage.
ಗಜಮುಖನೇ ಮೇರೆ ವೇಕದಂತನೇ ನಿಜ ಗುಣಾನ್ವಿತ ಪರಶುಧಾರನೇ ರಜತಗಿರಿ ಗೊಡೆಯನ ಕುಮಾರನೇ ವಿದ್ಯೆವಾರಿಧಿಗೆ ಅಜನು ಹರಿರುದ್ರಾದಿಗಳು ನೆರೆ ಭಜಿಸುವರು ಅನವರತ ನಿನ್ನನು ತ್ರಿಜಗವಂದಿತ ಗಣಪ ಮಾಳ್ಪುದು ಮತಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಲವ ತ್ರಿಜಗವಂದಿತ ಗಣಪ ಮಾಳ್ಪುದು ಮತಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಲವ ಷಡಾನನಂ ಕುಂಕುಮರಕ್ತವರ್ಣಂ ಮಹಾಮತಿಂ ದಿವ್ಯ ಮಯೂರವಾಹನಂ ರುದ್ರಸ್ಯ ಸೂನುಂ ಸುರಸೈನ್ಯನಾಥಂ ರುದ್ರಸ್ಯ ಸೂನುಂ ಸುರಸೈನ್ಯನಾಥಂ ಗುಹಂ ಸದಾ ಶರಣಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಪದ್ಯೆ ಗುಹಂ ಸದಾ ಶರಣಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಪದ್ಯೆ ಗುಹಂ ಸದಾ ಶರಣಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಪದ್ಯೆ.
Now I request Mr. Govind sir, English lecturer, KSS College Subramanya, to give the welcome remark for this function.
A very good morning to one and all present here. It's a great pleasure and honor to have with us today Honorable Union Minister of Women and Child Development, Ms. Smriti Irani. Before we invite her to take the floor, I would like to briefly present a note on her. Ms. Smriti Irani is the first woman in India to hold the office as the Minister of Textiles and is known for her incredible work in those portfolios during her tenure. Now, in the capacity of being the Minister of Women and Child Development as well, she is known for initiating a number of programs empowering and strengthening women and also enhancing child protection in the country. We have seen her as her family members working for Rashtriya Swayam Sevaka Sangha and later Janasangha. We have seen and heard her as a rare parliamentarian in many discussions both in the parliament and TV programs. We are proud to record here her cultural achievements, and she is the cultural icon of this country, and she is an artist, parliamentarian and statesman. We are listening for the first time in this temple town her talk and remarks. Therefore, it is going to be an historic occasion for us. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome her to this interaction program with the students. On behalf of Kukke Shri Subramanyeshwara Temple Management, we extend a respectful welcome to Ms. Shruti Irani. Welcome to you, Madam. As a token of our affection, may I request Mr. Mohan Ramsulli to florally welcome Madam Smriti Irani. Thank you. I also bring to the notice of our Honorable Minister a couple of things that the people of Dakshina Kannada or this region fought against the imposition of emergency way back in 1977, and a commemorative volume in this regard was brought out by Sullia unit recently. I also bring to your notice, Madam, the role of local chiefs in fighting against the British. I also bring to your notice, Madam, this is an auspicious month in Hindu calendar that we call Dhanur Masa. In this holy month, you have come to Subramanya. It's a great pleasure for us to listen to you. I also welcome our chairman, Mr. Mohan Ramsulli, sir. It's also my delight to welcome the executive officer to this program. I also welcome the two principals of two educational institutions run by the temple. I welcome all the journalists, students, public for this program. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On this occasion, we wish to begin in an auspicious manner to lighting the lamp. May I request Chairman of Temple Management Committee to take Honorable Union Minister to light the Jyoti.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं
Thank you, Madam. I request our special guest, Madam Smriti Irani, Honorable Minister of Women Welfare and Child Development, Government of India, to address the gathering and invite an interaction.
Respected Chairman, sir, devotees who are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen, young friends. They say that when you come to a temple with belief that the blessings will be such that it is a life-changing event for you, it is very rare that you schedule such a visit. It is upon the instructions of the deity and the ichha of the deity that you can come and seek darshan. Today, as I presented myself to seek darshan, Honorable Temple Chairperson Sir told me, can you interact with our youth on the issue of the role of youth in the making of a new India? The fact that a temple establishment becomes not only a facilitator between devotee and God, but also helps the new generation seek the blessings of Ma Saraswati in itself, embodies what role society will play in building of a new India. When we talk about a new India, is it redefining India? Is it helping India find its purpose in the new world? Or is it rediscovering what our civilization was all about and presenting our civilizational strengths to the world so that the world can benefit from the knowledge of our ancestors? On this premise, this very foundation, I would like to invite questions from our young friends here today, cultural or political. Please feel free to ask any question. Given the maryada of the temple, I shall do my best to answer all questions that have been put forth to me. I think the only people who are not having the liberty to ask questions are the journalists who are sitting here. But since today is the day of the youth, I would now invite questions from any youngster who is seated here today. If there is a need for a translation, Govind sir, if there's a need for a translation, do help me. Yes. You can ask the question in Kannada. Govind sir will help in translating.
Hello ma'am. How did you manage your field as an expert in being actress as well as politician?
Babre. In my introduction, Govind sir spoke about the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha. And one of the entities within the Sangha that looks after the students' interest is the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. And one of the people who helped bring the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad to life, Yashwantrao Kelkar ji, he used to say that when you want to be in service of your country, make sure that you achieve something in a professional life. And when you succeed in your professional life, and you give up that success and then come into the service of the nation through politics, that is when you will understand the importance of every day you spend in the service of your people and of your country. So one of the first learnings I had from the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha was that what is the path to achievement in the professional sphere? Apart from educating oneself and becoming self-reliant so that you can help others, I became a part of the Indian media. When I became a part of the Indian media, not many women, especially from poor family backgrounds, used to succeed in Indian media. I come from a very humble family. When my parents got married, they had only 150 rupees. And when I received my first job in media, I had only 200 rupees left in my pocket. But the fact that you take your value system and imbibe it into your media life, and from there simultaneously work in politics, what Govind sir could not tell you was that I was the WHO USAID ambassador to India on the ORS program. This is from the year 2001 up to the year 2002 end. And while I was the ambassador to India on a WHO program, I could not be a part of a political office. And 2000 means 22 years ago. I was 24 years old. And at that age, I was the ambassador to India. We introduced ORS with zinc in India. Then in 2003, I came to the BJP. I became the BJP Maharashtra Yuva Morcha Youth Wing Vice President. I have served as BJP Maharashtra State Secretary, 5 times in the National Executive of the BJP, 2 times the National Secretary, 1 time the National Vice President, 1 time the National Women's Wing President, 3 times MP. And I was doing all of this plus my media job. So I think the trick is that if you're an Indian woman, you can manage, you can multitask.
Namaste, ma'am. Myself, Kannika Kadige. In case if any woman goes through any problems in her workplace, can she contact you directly?
Yes, absolutely. My email ID is available with my phone number on my website.
Okay.
And if you want, I'll get off this stage and I can give you that same thing. And if there is trouble, you can please contact the chairperson of the temple committee. He can also reach out to me very quickly. But more than that, Kanika, I think one needs to also elaborate that the government of India runs and supports one-stop centers across all districts of the country. Currently, 703 one-stop centers are functional, which includes your own district. Apart from that, there's a women's helpline 181 for young girls and women to contact. And young children can call on 1098. You don't have to reveal your identity. If you're in trouble, please call us. We will be available to you in 5 minutes to help you. Even if I have my office in Delhi, we are available in every part of the country.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just to elaborate, Kanika, through the one-stop centers, we have helped 70 lakh women and above across the country. And we run helplines through the Government of India across all states of the country. And in the past 7 years, we have responded to 22 crore phone calls from women. Yes. None of the boys are asking questions. Girls Zindabad. Yes.
Hello ma'am, myself Pooja from final BA. How national education policy is useful for youth in future?
I had the principal blessings of being the first drafters of the national education policy as Minister of Education. While Govind sir spoke about me holding charge as the first woman to hold office of Textile Ministry, I'm also the first woman ever to be the Cabinet Minister for Human Resource Development, which is education in the country. When we drafted the education policy, it's the first time in the history of our democracy that we asked over 2 lakh village education councils, every district education council, every university, every school system and parent-teacher association, apart from every Zilla Panchayat, Adhyaksha, every MLA, every MP, irrespective of their politics, what is their contribution or what would they like to see in the national education policy. Three big things which are takeaways from the national education policy. One, education in regional languages. It is extremely important to know that countries like China and many countries in Europe today recognize that when a child receives education in Matrabhasha, especially in maths and science, those elements of maths and science are imbibed well when a child learns it in the mother tongue. The second aspect, if I expand on this point, is that the Honorable Prime Minister was of the belief that why only basic education, but even medical education and engineering education should be made available in Matrabhasha. The national education policy is dedicated towards it. In fact, Karnataka is one of the first states to roll out the national education policy from that perspective. My congratulations to all Karnataka citizens for the same. The second aspect is the importance given to science. The fact today, world over, you see in technical education, especially in aeronautics, young Indians make a hefty mark in itself is a great tribute to the potential of the Indian learning experience. As you know that the Prime Minister in fact has opened up the space in space research and space entrepreneurship so that more and more youngsters come into the space sector. We've had youngsters launch satellites who are still school students in collaboration with ISRO. I think is one of the greatest strengths of the new education policy. Thirdly, as a woman, I'm extremely proud that the Prime Minister has ensured that for the first time in the history of our country, there is a gender inclusion fund which is now ingrained in the national education policy, which means that the government of India implores every state to ensure that girl-child educational needs are met. Now, if we want to expand those needs infrastructurally from a school education perspective to a higher education perspective, especially for young women and girls, the national education policy separately provides for a gender inclusion fund, the first ever in the history of our country.
Myself, Arish Kumar, final BA, KSS College, Subramania. The next year's G20 summit is being hosted by India. So what are the government commitments towards women empowerment and gender equality that would you like to expose amongst the other partnering countries?
Thank you. That's a very well thought question, very well read out of the mobile phone. I will only say this. The Prime Minister says we are Vasudeva Kutumbakam, one world and one future. In that, the center of governance, the center of samajik utthan, that means social upliftment, has to be women. And that is why when the Honorable Prime Minister was taking over the presidency of the G20 in Indonesia, he spoke about women-led development. Now, for years on end in our country, we've heard of women's empowerment. The Prime Minister has had a strategic shift in that discourse and said, let's look at women as a tool or a medium of empowering our nation as a whole, which means that the perspective now totally shifts. Today, if I'm talking about women-led development, you look at programs like Mudra Yojana, where out of all the loans given, 70% have been given to women. The Stand Up India Yojana, in which 1 crore credit is given for entrepreneurship, 80% of the beneficiaries are women. When you look at bank accounts and them operationalized, 22 crores of such operationalized bank account systems belong to women. And that is why today, when we take over the G20 presidency, we are telling the world, learn from the powers and the capacity of Indian women, that if nations across the world prioritize women like India has, they benefit as a nation, as an economy, and as a society at large. So I'm extremely grateful that the Honorable Prime Minister has made women-led development one of the core issues of presentation in the G20 presidency. Three girls, one boy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Namaste, madam. What can our do to throw out the tension and angry?
I think, ma'am, that is a very pertinent question, especially as a parent, and especially the youngsters who are amongst us today. One of the greatest challenges with regards to temper and stress, youngsters will not like it, is the active use of devices. There is today a conversation the world over. What is the appropriate age to introduce a smartphone into a child's life? That's why I said my answer will not be liked by the youngsters. The second issue is of stress when it comes to ichha. Our ancestors have been talking about it for years on end. If you have control over ichha, if you are, how do we say, santosham? Santosh is satisfaction, happiness is something else. So, what is the goal that you have in life? If the goal is overtly materialistic, then you will always have stress. If the goal is balance between materialism and spiritualism, then you are less likely to have stress. And as the Prime Minister propounds, if you are habituated to doing yoga, then you will have less stress. So, to throw stress out of your life, begin your day with yoga.
Hi, ma'am. Myself, Akshat. Could you please some of living intents of youth involved across the country that you have witnessed your tenure?
Akshat, can you explain?
Witnessed your tenure of youth involvement across the country.
I think that one of the greatest hallmarks which shows the potential of our young ones is when the pandemic came, when COVID came, and especially when there is a challenge thrown like a flood or an earthquake, we see a lot of young ones use technology to productively reach out and make sure that safety measures that are to be imbibed by society are well known. There are many youngsters who help children from poorer families to educate themselves, give additional classes. There are many youngsters who help Divyang children and Divyang citizens. There are many youngsters who help the elderly in geriatric care. So my belief is what I have seen of the young across the country. It is not essential to believe that the youngster is not intertwined with the needs of society. I have seen many youngsters dedicate themselves to causes which are socially just, causes where there is help needed societally, and there are many youngsters who are using technology effectively to bridge gaps between people.
Hi ma'am, my name is Suman. I'm a great fan of yours from long time.
Don't say Saas bhi kabhi bahuti.
Yes, I am. Anyway, I'm from Bangalore. I'm so happy that I have seen you today. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a question for you. When I go to a bank for a support, but I don't really get that support. If I have to get support to improve my business that I'm doing,
What business are you in, Puna?
I'm a caterer. I deliver breakfast, lunch and dinner.
So one of the greatest challenges you must be facing is that you have no capital asset that you can leverage?
No, not actually capital asset. For the working capital, if I have to buy some, big, huge vessels or an additional commercial
They are not
stove.
taken in seriously from a banking perspective.
Yes.
Now you need to recognize that when you go to a private bank or any bank for that matter,
Okay.
the money it leverages as credit to you is the money of the people.
Yes.
And that is why, because they have to leverage the money, hard-working money of the people of our country, there are certain frameworks and schedule under which they have to give you the money.
Okay.
Because if they break that rule, they will be in jail.
Okay.
And that is why for certain fields it becomes a challenge. However, if you try and apply under the Mudra scheme and below 10 lakh, I'm sure that you will get support in that.
Okay, Mudra scheme, is it?
Yes, because if you reorganize your enterprise to fit that particular credit bracket, you will get support.
Okay, so
Stand
this-
Up India is credit up to 1 crore rupees, and the government has directed every district bank that at least one woman beneficiary has to be there, especially if she is from a challenging background. So see how your enterprise can get rescheduled according to the credit which is available.
Okay, so if I have to look for a Mudra scheme,
Every bank has it.
so the nationalized bank or even the
Every
private
bank has it. You may want to go to the nationalized bank if you so desire.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Pledge all the
Thank you.
best.
Hi, ma'am. I'm
Namaste.
Adira from Kerala.
Hi, Adila.
Ma'am, we are always talking about women empowerment and gender equality. What's your opinion about considering women impure during their menstruation and not permitting them to temples and such places? We are sitting in a temple atmosphere, so we have to keep it some morals. So, what's your opinion about this?
Adila, I am married to a Zoroastrian, which is a Parsi. They are like Agnihotra Brahmins in Hindus. Now, Parsis do not convert after marriage. I won't convert either. But I am not allowed into a Parsi temple, even if I am married. My children can go, my husband can go, I cannot go. But I don't break their rules. I think when we are living in a society where every religion has its own belief system and its own methodologies of practice, it is incumbent upon us, it is our responsibility to ensure that we recognize and respect that religion's belief and methodology of practice. So even if I'm union minister, I do not break the rules of my husband's religion and barge into his temple. It is not allowed.
Okay, we are following tradition, it's okay. What's your opinion that during that period women
That
are
is
impure
why
or not?
even in the Parsi Zoroastrian temple, they are not allowed. So the person who gave the judgment in Supreme Court is also a Parsi.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm
So Adila for Kerala, thank you for asking a politically loaded question. The journalists have noted. Don't worry.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Dr. Neetu Suraj from KSS College, Subramania. Ma'am, I have one question. There are a lot of support for women, okay? But still, in certain workplace, women are finding some sort of issues or problems, maybe related to employment or maybe related to the higher officials, like, trying to take up an opportunity or something like that. Now, my question is, like in this case, if you don't find any solution for months together, even after you're going through some sort of problem, you're trying to address that before the management or maybe...
Is it a sexual harassment case?
No, not sexual harassment as such, but it is related to the work-related aspects only, nothing else. So, like, is there any solution which can be...
You see, the issue is how pervasive do you want governments to be? We are not a part of a communist setup. In an independent country, when you enter into a contract or when you enter into an employment agreement with your company, if you have interpersonal issues where there is a violation of law, then the government can step in terms of the police services, administrative services to protect you. If that law has not been broken, then how much of government do you want in your office, in your home?
Okay, sometimes happens, ma'am. Law is not broken because it happens from some of the sides, like where you are going through the proper
Since
procedure.
you're being very, very vague, I can only give you a very pertinent answer. If the law is not broken, then should the government have a role?
Okay, ma'am. Just wanted to know, like, is there any help that we can seek from you?
Since you have
that's
not specified what is the issue, I cannot tell you. If there is sexual harassment at work, we can have the person arrested.
Not sexual harassment as such. Okay. Thank you.
If there is somebody has cheated the tax person, that person can be having action against them. If they have broken building laws, action can be taken against them. If they have not paid electricity bill, action can be taken. If they're not paid water supply bill, action can be taken. If they've not paid GST, action can be taken.
What if they're not paid salary?
Then you can take them to labor court.
Okay, thank you.
Hi ma'am. Myself Santosh BK, KSS College Subramania. Do you think the Agnipath scheme has helped youth in getting a job as well as giving them a opportunity to serve the nation?
Yes.
Can I repeat ma'am?
No, I said yes. Do you think it has? I said yes. Because we've had army camps recruitment done in our area also. We've seen youngsters getting inducted into that scheme. So that is why, since I'm a witness, I can say yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Lata from KSS College Subramania. I want to know why the tax rate has been changed between men and women. Actually, 3 years back, or I think really 4 years back, there is a difference in tax rates, ma'am, for men and women. Now it is same for all.
No, madam. I think that you're mistaken. The interest rate that women have to pay if they take a bank loan, especially on the low-income housing from banks, in fact, the interest rate for women has been reduced so that they can buy property at a cheaper interest rate as compared to men. There is no tax discrimination. In fact, we are the only country in the world which has ensured that people receive 28 months of food ration for 80 crore people free of cost. Another 1 year is happening now without any tax being raised. We are the only country in the world which has given 200 crore vaccines free of cost without any tax being raised. In fact, if you do the calculation, madam, how many people in your family?
We are only 4, ma'am.
You are 2 people in the family? Otherwise, extended family, how many people?
Extended, nearly...
Parents, siblings?
No, actually, only 4, ma'am. We are 4.
4, no?
Yeah.
One injection is 600 rupees. 600 into 4 into 3.
Yeah.
That is how much your family got without raising any taxes on anybody. That is one family. So there is no tax discrimination. In fact, we made it cheaper for women to buy homes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam, if you don't mistake me, I have 2
Yes.
questions. One,
Govind sir, you have 2 questions.
yeah, one is out of the way. You may think so. That is, we need women, especially in studying in schools and colleges, to be given free sanitary napkins. One, can you think of that? Secondly, we have this region full of resources, and women do a lot of works related to home products. There is no network, there is no suitable marketing. Could you please connect this to a
What
larger
we can
world?
do is 2 things. One is the GEM portal where the government buys from people who register. We can get GEM registration done for all the women who are selling home products. In fact, the Prime Minister's office needed a flask. It bought it from a lady in Tamil Nadu, from a village, because she was registered on the GEM portal, where Government of India entirely through all ministries and certain state governments also buy whatever governments need. One is that. Insofar as sanitary napkin goes, I'm sure that you know that the Jan Aushadhi Kendra now gives sanitary napkins for only 1 rupee. So if the temple trust deems it fit, at least in our educational institutions, for young women to use, you can purchase directly from the Jan Aushadhi Kendra. That is the cheapest that is being made available by the Government of India. The rest of the cost of production, the government takes on its head.
Madam,
Yes,
I am
sir.
Timapagowda Kundadaka. I want to ask you about the bribe in India. It has to be ruled, whether it can be wrote out from in the level of government. I want to...
It's a very pertinent question, sir. That is exactly why most of the challenges come from government supply chain, and that is why when I told Govindaji about the GEM portal, where governments can purchase directly from the smallest of villages and the smallest of vendors. If we can get more and more vendors, and especially small industry, to directly engage with the government there, that I think is going to be very beneficial. Also, there is enough robustness in our system now for complaints to be given and action to be taken. Yes, that is why, sir, so many people are going under ED and CBI. Some people have a problem, but Modi ji has made it his sankalpa that whoever has cheated the country's resources will be jailed.
Hello, ma'am. This
Yes.
is Pranjali. I'm a MSc student. Other than student introduction talk, I thought to ask this question as a temple devotee. Can we consider Kukkeshri Subramanya temple as Swadesh Darshan scheme?
Very honestly, I'm not one of those politicians who lies. So for it to be a part of the Swadesh Darshan team, it is a proposal that has to go from here to the state, from the state then to the center. And then the minister concerned has to take a call on the basis of the proposal given. But given how well the temple committee has worked, I think that we are well enough, adept enough to do a lot of infrastructural development on our own.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I request Mr. Mohanram Sulli, Chairperson, Kukki Subramanya Temple, to honor with a small token of appreciation to Madam Smriti Irani, Honorable Minister of Women Welfare and Child Development, Government of India. It is a book named Swatantra Sangrama 1837 with a huge round of applause. Every beginning has an end, hence every end has a new beginning. It is the time to end our program, so I request Kumari Ashita, First Science, SSPU College, Subramanya, to deliver vote of thanks address.
Good afternoon all. I stand before you to extend a vote of thanks. First of all, let me extend a sincere and heartfelt thanks to Honorable Union Minister Ms. Shruti Irani. Thank you, ma'am. I thank the Chairperson of Temple Management Committee, Shri Mohanram Sulli, the Executive Officer, Dr. Ringaya, and all the members. Thank you, sirs. I thank all my schoolmates, journalists, public for their participation in the program. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ashita, and thank you one and all gathered here.
PU ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಊಟದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬಾಯ್. ನೀವು ಊಟ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫುಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ದೆನ್ ಗೋ ಹಿಯರ್. ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಲೈನ್.